You are tuned to Kennett Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
We're here at the intersection of Highway 84 West and NN Highway. Jerry Paul Combs is standing here to talk to me about all of this equipment, all of this territory, the Caterpillars, the bulldozers, and what they're doing. Jerry Paul, a quick rundown of what's going on here today.
Okay. We're standing at the entrance to what will be known as the Little River Lake Conservation Area. This is the county line between Dunklin and Pemiscot County. This road that you and I are walking down, the county line is right down the middle of it. Half of this road's in Dunklin County and half of it's in Pemiscot County. The Missouri Department of Conservation bought 1,032 acres right here, and it's on both sides of this road. Half of it is in Pemiscot County, half of it's in Dunklin County, and this road pretty well splits the farm right down the middle.
Okay.
On this 1,032 acres, the department is going to build a 150-acre fishing lake.
Okay.
And it will all be built over to our left, which is in Dunklin County.
Okay.
The dirt to build a levee around the lake is going to come from these fields over to our right, which are located in Pemiscot County, and they're not going to dig any dirt out of the lake. So the lake will be level with the bottom of the land. There won't be any digging done. All of the land will be, the dirt will come from this farm on the right to our right.
And to make a levee.
To make a levee around this 150-acre lake.
And the lake bottom is going to be just on what we're looking, the very ground we're looking at.
That's exactly right, and it will be from 8 to 10 feet deep. They will create, in digging the dirt to build a levee around the lake, 250 acres of wetland area over here to our right that will range from 2 feet to 4 feet deep, that will have water control structures that they can control the water in the wetland areas, and it will primarily be for migratory waterfowl and for shorebirds and for all species that use wetland areas. Okay. There'll be 250 acres of wetland created, new wetland areas created just to build the levees for the new lake.
Okay, now, this wetland area that you're talking about for waterfowl, is that going to make this land perhaps look like it did back in the early 1900s or 1800s?
No.
No.
And the reason for that is because when we first cleared this land, it was swamp, it had trees on it, and it was a swampland.
You're not going to put trees?
This will not be, the wetland area, the 250 acres, will not have any trees back on it. In addition to creating the 250-acre wetland area, they're going to reforest about 250 acres of this land. Somewhere on this 1,000 acres, they will redevelop another 250 acres of bottomland hardwood forest.
Okay.
And that will take years to do.
Bottomland hardwood. Tell me.
Don't get me to trying to tell you what species of woods will be in that.
All right. Now, is this road's going to go?
No, this road will stay here. It will be hard surface, blacktop, and we will go right down this road. They'll build a brand new road right where this one exists for the public to use to get to the lake, to view and walk around the wetland areas, and eventually to be able to go through the forest that's going to be created. There will be no hunting on this 1,000 acres.
But there'll be fishing?
There'll be the predominant reason that this whole project is being done is for fishing. But because there's going to be so much more created out here, there'll be a lot of other things that the public can do by come watching the birds, by just using the area as a wildlife area, but it's not large enough to allow hunting on it because the hunting pressure would be so great on such a small area that the decision was made not to allow hunting, just viewing.
Okay, now, Jerry Paul, way off in the distance, are they moving dirt? Are those dirt movers? Is that what it looks like? They're leveling?
What's going on over there now? Those are 3 of units that they tell me that they will, when they get in full force in another month, they may have as many as 15 to 20 tractors with dirt buggies behind them out here building this levees. But all they're doing now is they're just stripping off the top of the dirt, getting rid of the weeds and the vegetation, and getting prepared to build a levee around the lake.
Now, Jerry Paul, how in the world is this going to be? First of all, why is it not going to sink through and disappear, the water? And second of all, how are you going to fill this lake?
Okay, it's going to be filled with 2 deep water wells that will be constructed. And the reason that the water won't seep through is because there's 8 feet of clay out there. They spent months down here test drilling this land to be sure that it would hold water.
So you found the right place to build this.
Yes,
I mean, this was not just a farm that was for sale.
No, and there's quite a history on why this site was selected, and I'll just take the time to tell you.
Yeah.
For 20 years in the long-range plan for the Missouri Department of Conservation, they wanted to build a lake somewhere in southeast Missouri for fishing. When I got appointed by Governor Ashcroft 6 years ago to the commission, they let me know that that was one of their priorities. So the first thing I started trying to do was to find land that we could buy that was suitable to build a lake on. My first thought was it should be close to St. Francis River. We ought to build it out by Ben Cash, our own Ben Cash land, somewhere out there behind the levee, outside the levee. That seemed to be the reasonable place to build a lake, and that's what most people think.
Yeah, that would appear to me.
I spent a year trying to locate land down there. Everything in southeast Missouri, when you start to impede water or restrict the flow of water, you start running into problems with farmers, drainage districts, everybody. You know, we spent 100 years getting water off of this land. And anytime you start trying to restrict the flow of water, you start running into problems. Okay. The first thing was to build a lake inside the levee on the St. Francis River, on the inside of the levee in the St. Francis. When you do that, you start creating from 100 to 500 acres of water. The farmers outside the levee are very concerned about seep water. So they start complaining about that, and rightfully so. So that kind of didn't work. We moved outside the levee. Then we started trying to buy some land that was adjacent to the St. Francis River levee, but was outside the levee. 2 problems we ran into. You either were going to impede water from a drainage district that would be going through the land that the drainage districts didn't want us to do. The other problem that was amazing to me is anywhere that we found down there that we wanted to put the lake was already an existing wetland. Well, a lake destroys wetland the same as it does if you drain it for farming practices.
A lake destroys wetland?
That's right. A lake is a completely different environment and habitat than wetland area. And under the existing federal laws, as you know, we cannot destroy wetlands anymore. We have a net loss. Therefore, any existing wetland in the United States, you cannot build a lake on it. So we had those problems. Finally, after a year and a half of going through all this, the department people told me, he said, Jerry Paul, the only way you're ever going to get a lake built in southeast Missouri is to move out somewhere where you can build a lake, build a levee all the ways around it, not interfere with anybody's drainage, not interfere with any wetlands, and let us try something that we've never done before. And a lake like this has never been built.
What do you mean? It's never been a lake like this never been done before?
And because this lake is going to be completely furnished. In other words, what you and I think of as a lake, we don't want this to look like a fish pond, a catfish pond. It's not going to be square or rectangular. It's going to be odd-shaped. It's going to have all different depths in it. It's going to have fish weirs all in it. All of the water, none of it's going to come out of the Little River drainage system. It's all going to come out of wells. It all has to be aerated, and it is a real, in fact, what we're looking at today is a $4.5 million project.
Now, where will the money come from?
The money will come from the Missouri Department of Conservation, 100%. They purchased the land, the 1,000 acres. The project itself to build the lake, the contract was $3.2 million. The land cost a little over $800,000, and Burns & McDonnell engineering firm out of Kansas City is doing the engineering work on it.
Whose equipment we're looking at now? And
the trailer over there is an office that is set up by Burns & McDonnell, and they did all of the engineering work, and they're going to oversee the project. They were hired by the department at an expense of $500,000 to do the engineering work and oversee the project. The project was bid last month, and Doomey Construction Company out of Oran, Missouri, was the low bidder at $3.2 million. All of this equipment you see belongs to Doomey Construction Company, and they're doing the actual construction. They have 150 working days in which to build this lake and to create all the wetlands and to build a new road and everything.
In 150?
In 150 working days.
Now, that seems incredibly short to me.
Well, that's approximately 8 months, and they don't count Saturdays and Sundays as working days, and if it rains, that's not counted a working day. But, you know, most government projects, you'll have so many working days to do it, and then they'll start paying a penalty for every day over that.
Now, obviously, you're going to stock this lake with fish?
That's correct. And, you know, this lake's going to be built by December the 1st.
Okay.
But it's going to be another 4 years before anybody will be able to catch a fish out of it. Because by the time it's stocked, the fish grow, everything that you go through to get it to where it'll be a fishing lake, probably you and I can come out here 5 years from now and there'll be people going down this road go fishing.
Okay. Now, what we want to do is follow this construction. And when something different is taking place, especially when they stock this lake, when it's done, but we want a lot of footage in between. We want to follow this for a lot of our viewers who can't get out here, but who want to know what's going on.
Well, it'll be an interesting project to follow. The department, we had a meeting this week, and we had to make a decision whether we wanted to come out here and have a groundbreaking and have a big to-do and of starting the project, whether they want to have a dedication when it's completed. And the decision was made to have a dedication after it was completed, and so there wasn't any fanfare with today other than just starting to work.
I called Jerry Paul and I said, when they really begin work on this, you call, let me know. And he said, today, oodles of equipment out here, this is the first day. So no fanfare, you're right. I guess the public was not really made aware of this.
It's amazing. The public has seen, and the public pretty well knows what's going on, especially in Dunklin and Pemiscott County, because this thing has been talked about so much that most people are aware of that something's being done. Most people are not aware of how extensive the project is and how different this lake's going to be. You know, again, we think of it as a catfish pond if we don't watch it. Well, this lake is going to be a road all the way around it that you can drive around. There's going to be boat dock built on the lake. It's going to be handicap accessible.
J. Paul, a name for this. What do you call this?
All right, as I said when we first started, it's the Little River Lake Conservation Area. When they bought the project and started to do it, there was lots of names that came up.
Yeah.
Lake Chili-de-Call, Boot Hill Recreational Area. Finally, the decision was made, there's nothing more famous in this part of the country than the Little River drainage system. This lake sits right beside the Little River drainage system. In fact, at one time, you know, they were going to use the existing levee on the drainage ditch over there as part of the boundary for the lake. And then they decided that that wasn't going to work either, so we're backing off far enough that the levees won't interfere with the Little River drainage system at all. But that's how we came up with the name of Little River Lake is because of the Little River drainage system that we're so close to.
Okay, and we're going to watch the progress.